flip-flops are hot. Flip-flop go.
Hello and welcome to the TRYGESIS Thursday newsletter for March 6th, 2025. This is volume 2, number 10. So already we're on our 10th edition of the newsletter for this year. Now there are, I guess, 3 parts to this video. Swift's going to start off by talking, has a couple of videos on playing and writing guitar solos. And they're pretty informative and they can help a lot. So he's going to start that off in just a second. And then I'm going to come back and talk about preparing for the live solo performance. So if you're a singer-songwriter, maybe you play guitar and sing or play keyboards and sing, I'm going to give you some tips on performing for those open mics and maybe some paid gigs. And a lot of what I learned, I learned over the years, but I also learned recently from attending the Steve Poltz concert and listening to him talk about how he prepares for a live show. So pretty fascinating, I thought, and we'll get right to it. Take it away, Swift.
Just to make your playing a little more interesting, instead of playing single note leads all the time, 2 and 3 notes at a time can do wonders. You can get beautiful fingerings, like from an F chord. You can do the bass along with it if you finger pick, like. Or I like this one. But instead of just always do something interesting, you can do arpeggios. Just a simple bar chord A, B. And you just one note at a time, and mute it after the first pick. The octaves that Wes Montgomery did can really sound beautiful on the right song. That's just all E with your octave block, the low to the high in the octave. So try, using multiple notes instead of single notes in your leads. See if that helps. Ha. Happy New Year. All right, here's part 2 of the 2-note lead guitar techniques. I kind of like to use a fretted note with an open string. A lot of bluegrass players bend into it. And you've got the B. You can use an E7th chord as interesting up here instead of just John Fogerty goes. Dennis Dunaway did it on the low notes in Gutter Cat versus the Jets from Alice Cooper. You got something like Peace Train is the 1st and 3rd frets. And a lot of blues uses that same 1st and 3rd. Only on the same fret. You can use the 1st and 2nd strings instead of just sometimes they're 1 fret apart, sometimes 2, sometimes on the same fret, which allows you to do pull-off leads. I like adding 3 notes sometimes to a low chord, avoiding the top 3 strings, but playing a C chord to give it some punch. There's a D, here's a B flat. I'm I'm just hitting the first fret on the 5th and 6th strings with open 4th string. Almost sounds like it's a drop tuning, but it's not. And there you have some new 2-note guitar lead ideas.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about preparing for the solo live performance. So if you're a singer-songwriter who plays guitar and sings, or maybe plays keyboards and sings, here are some tips that I found useful that I picked up over the years. 1, practice like crazy. I mean, play the song literally hundreds of times so that it's perfect, at least at home. I mean, when you're at home practicing, once in a while you're going to hit that perfect performance, and the chances of ever duplicating that live are small, because there's so many variables that change when you go from your living room or your bedroom or your office to the live venue. The sound's different, the PA's different. You're singing into a mic rather than just singing into the air. Yeah, so the more you practice, and the better off your performance the better your performance is going to be. And especially those little tricky parts, practice those over and over and over and over, so you get to the point where it's automatic and you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of like if you're a basketball player and you're shooting free throws. Well, you want to be so good at shooting free throws you can make 100 in a row almost every time. And in the game, you'll probably be lucky to make 80 or 85%, because the whole environment's different. You're on the away court. But the more you do it, the better you get. It's just that practice, practice, practice. So I'll give you an example, a couple of examples. So the first song I did at the last open mic, I had just driven back from Arizona to Ohio. My voice was a little bit raspy from I guess, just the change of environment. And I really practiced the song a lot. And 2 things happened. The big ending, I hit I have a capo on the 2nd fret, and then I hit, I guess it would be a D sharp 2nd position bar chord. And the guitar that I was going to use for the open mic, I hadn't played in 3 months. It had been sitting in my bedroom in Ohio. Well, the neck must have changed, or the tension on the strings caused the neck to bow or something. I'm not sure quite yet what happened. But when I played that bar chord D, the 3rd string, the D string, the G string, it made virtually no sound, and the sound it made was out of key with the rest of the chord, because it was hitting a fret rather than ringing like that. It was hitting the fret above it, and so totally dissonant. So I had to scramble, and then instead of playing, I went to instead of down on the 2nd fret D, I played D sharp on the 3rd fret, but I couldn't play the whole chord the way I would play it live, and had been rehearsing it for 3 months. But because I knew the song so well, it wasn't a big deal to change to the 3rd position, or the 3rd fret. But I had to, think of it live. I had to remember to do it. So that was one issue. And then because my throat was kind of raspy, I could tell that it was kind of swollen. And I went to sing, and I could not hit any of the high notes, because this song that I sang, "The Social Cat," it's I sing this note at the very end, and you're streaming numbers, and it sounded horrible. It sounds horrible now. And you're streaming numbers are falsely sounded great in Arizona for the last 3 months. But today, or tonight, that night, couldn't do it. Can't do it tonight either. So that was a big issue. But what happened is, because I had played that song so many times over the last 3 months, practicing, it was not too difficult to sing it, sing a lower note. So instead of going, I went to numbers. So yeah, that wasn't too bad of a transition. And then that happened to another song, and what was it called? It was the newest one I wrote, called Dark Leaves Falling. It's got this big ending where I hit a high note again, and it's really dramatic when I hit those notes, and it sounds good. But when the open mic came last week, my voice could not hit that high note at all, so I had to sing it lower. It lost some of the power of and some of the emotional, the big ending, because I had to sing it lower. But because I had played it hundreds of times, I made that adjustment pretty easily. Honor's more despotic than love. And there's also, in that same song, Dark Leaves Falling, there's a riff I play. And I practiced that riff over and over and over. And I still didn't play it quite right, but I got it pretty close. That's hard to do even now. Honor's more despotic than love. So, because when I play the song live, I play it a little bit faster, because the adrenaline's pumping, and I knew that's what happened. So when I practiced at home, hundreds and hundreds of times I played that riff over and over, so that I don't have to think about it. And I also play the song over and over and over hundreds of times, so that if I do lose my place, it's easy to recover. I usually can figure out what I did wrong immediately and change the chord to the correct chord, or I can repeat a verse or a chorus or whatever I need to do to make the song sound okay, and hopefully no one notices my big mistake. So anyway, those are some tips. The key is just practice hundreds of times. Your significant other, if you're living with someone, or if your roommate or whatever, they are going to get sick to hear you play the same songs over hundreds of times, but that's what it takes. And so when I went to see Steve Poltz, he co-wrote the song with Jewel, I Was Meant for You, or You Were Meant for Me, whatever that's called. He said that's what he does. He practices the song hundreds of times. And when I saw him play, he played for 2 hours straight without stopping. He might have made 2 or 3 mistakes that I caught, and they were very minor. Once he even admitted he forgot the first lyrics to the song, and he had to just sit there playing the chord until he stepped back from the mic. He goes, I'm trying to remember the words, and then he remembered the words they started. But it was kind of funny. It was a funny moment. And sometimes artists even pretend to make a mistake like that. It always gets a laugh every time. You step away from the mic, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot what I was doing, and then you step back up and you do it, and it always makes for a funny moment. But that's show business. Okay, so I think that's all I have for today. I'll talk to you next week for Volume 2, number 11, on that'll be the 13th of March. Talk to you then.
Flip-flop girl, watching the ocean swirl. I like her a lot, her flip-flops are hot. Flip-flop girl, I headed west to California. I needed the sun. I left the shade, wearing flip-flops of suede. Flip-flop girl. I stroll along the splintered boardwalk, hanging in the air. I hope to see the señorita, whose footwear made me stare. If I see her again, I'll try to ask her name. The way she looked at me, I think she felt the same. Flip-flop girl, letting her towel unfurl. She lays in the sand, her feet zebra striped tan. Flip-flop girl. I just wanna meet her. Her feet'll soon reveal if she's the right one. When I see her walking, if her flip-flops do the talking, she's my true love. I just want to feel us walking hand in hand. Her flip-flops spraying sand around our knees. Flip-flop girl, I'm living in a lonely world. I like her a lot, I hope she gives me a shot.